Then this state will launch jihad.
Then jihad against the non-Muslims, against those people who are the oppressors.
Sheikh Hassan told us that the word kuffar was not a racist or discriminatory term when heard in its Quranic sense. He said he'd stated many times that the re-establishment of a single Islamic state would be peaceful. He said he had often praised the British welfare state, its judicial, health and education systems. He said, "I have never promoted any form of extremism, whether religious or otherwise, or justified violence in conditions of peace." Lord Ahmed told us that Green Lane Mosque was one of many mosques he visited. He said it would be ludicrous to suggest that by visiting an institution I become responsible for or aware of every word spoken at that establishment. He said he had asked for the meeting with the Lord Chancellor on behalf of all Muslims, and he said he was not aware of all the views held by Sheikh Hassan.
Do brainwashing!
Next, we investigate claims that radicalism linked to the Saudi religious establishment has spread across the country, even reaching into Britain's biggest and most mainstream mosque. A Dispatches reporter investigated one of Britain's biggest and most mainstream mosques, Green Lane Mosque in Birmingham, uncovering a fundamentalist ideology emanating from the Saudi religious establishment. He found it promoting male supremacy.
Allah created for women nutrition.
And if she doesn't wear hijab, we hit her.
Condemning non-Muslims.
We hate the kuffar. We do not give obedience to the kuffar.
And predicting a future jihad.
The tables are going to turn, and the Muslims are going to be in a position of being uppermost in strength.
Now he was to discover how preachers trained in Saudi Arabia are spreading the same message around the country. Last summer, a 2-week Islamic studies course was arranged at the mosque, and our reporter was accepted onto it. It was to be taught by clerics flown specially from the University of Medina in Saudi Arabia. But then it was cancelled at short notice. Our reporter went to their office to find out more. The preacher Abu Osama tells him what the aim of the course was.
Well, from what I know is, people were going to come to teach the course from Saudi Arabia. Part of the program was the students who did good, like the first 3 or top 5 students, were getting the scholarship to go. That was part of the conditions that they had agreed with the professors who were coming, because the professors are from the University
Of Medina.
Yes.
The most devout worshippers at Green Lane are being offered scholarships to Saudi religious universities.
It's for people like you.
The aim is to train new preachers, according to Dr. Irfan Al-Alawi, who keeps his face hidden in interviews.
Medina University is a very hardcore Wahhabi institution. Over the years, they have been giving bursaries to students from the United Kingdom and throughout the world to recruit students to be brainwashed. Then they train to go abroad and teach their poison and inject it to others.
Medina graduates are now spreading the word in mosques up and down the UK, like Dr. Bilal Phillips, who says marrying girls before they reach puberty is permissible, Sheikh Suhaib Hassan, who preaches a future Muslim supremacy, and Abu Osama himself.
This is one of the most important items, I think, on the Saudi radical agenda, to push out more hospitable types of religious leadership and replace them with firebrands trained and programmed in the major Saudi universities.
Our reporter finds that Saudi-trained preachers are being promoted in DVDs and CDs throughout the UK. He found typical examples being sold in the car park at Green Lane Mosque. Children are buying them, and the stores are manned by local kids.
How am I looking, brother?
He buys a DVD of Sheikh Faiz, another Medina-trained preacher, in which he preaches jihad.
The peak, the pinnacle, the crest, the highest point, the pivot, the summit of Islam is jihad.
He criticizes Muslim parents who don't want their children to learn this.
Today, many parents, they prevent their children from attending lessons. Why? They fear that they might create or place in their hearts the love, just a bit of the love of sacrificing their lives for Allah. We want to have children and offer them as soldiers defending Islam. Teach them this, that there is nothing more beloved to me than wanting to die as a mujahid, put in their soft, tender heart the zeal of jihad and the love of martyrdom.
The Makazi Jamiat Ahle Hadith, which runs Green Lane Mosque in Birmingham, told us it is committed to promoting interfaith dialogue and political harmony in our society. Scholars from many different backgrounds spoke at its mosque, and we had quoted them out of context. It had not known what each speaker would say beforehand, and did not necessarily agree with everything that may have been said. It said the word kuffar was a neutral term, and said, "We reject the assertion that we are influenced by and teach an extreme version of Islam. We accept the rule of law, and we treat our non-Muslim neighbours with respect." The most notorious convert to preach in Britain was Sheikh Al-Faisal, who studied Islam at Riyadh University. He circulated his own tapes, urging followers to kill and to plant bombs, and was jailed for inciting racial hatred.
You have to bomb the Indian businesses. And as for the Jews, you kill them physically.
In an interview with the BBC, Al-Faisal claimed that he learnt his anti-Semitic views from his university training in Saudi Arabia.
I learned in university that the Holocaust was orchestrated in order that the Jews will establish a homeland in Arab territories.
The war to convert is waged on the internet. This website says it's run by an Islamic charity which is based in Saudi Arabia. It directs readers to a fatwa website, which it says is supervised by a Saudi scholar. Readers can email in questions and get religious rulings. The rulings say Muslims in the West must have an attitude of enmity and hatred of the Kafirs. All of the kuffar are the enemies of the Muslims. Jihad, pursuing the Kafirs in their lands and fighting them if they do not submit to the rule of Islam, is a communal obligation on Muslims. Men are superior to women and are better than women, and husbands can hit their wives, though only lightly. It recommends prodding with the fist. DVDs, books and the internet are all ways that the message is spread, according to Saudi expert May Yamani.
Since the 1980s, there has been an increase in the export of Wahhabi teachings to the Muslim world, from Kosovo to Jakarta and to the United States and Great Britain, supercharged with oil money. They sent in money for teachers, for schools, they printed books, educated imams, so it's like a wave of teachings hitting at the shores of Western countries.
Islamic bookshops in Britain are offered free literature.
A number of bookshops known to me have actually gone out of business because they've been undercut by the more fundamentalist literature that's being supplied for free by Saudi Arabia.
Dr. Taj Huggy set up the Muslim Educational Centre of Oxford to promote an Islam, tolerance and peaceful coexistence. He's opposed to Saudi influence over British Muslim life.
The Saudi funding of British Muslim institutions come from a variety of official, semi-official and private sources, in addition to government funding through the Ministry of Religious Affairs and other government agencies.
Money from Saudi has reached the most famous mosque in Europe. London Central Mosque, better known as Regent's Park Mosque, is the most recognisable symbol of moderate mainstream Muslim life in Britain. It says it acts on behalf of the whole Muslim community in dealing with the government. The Saudi monarchy gave £2 million to help build it, and in the 1990s they built its educational and administrative wing. The mosque's official bookshop is run by a company called Darussalam. It's a British company, but it's linked to Darussalam Publications, a global publishing house, whose head office is in Saudi Arabia. Our reporter visited and bought another video of Sheikh Faiz, the Saudi-trained preacher, condemning the non-believer.
Kafir, ya Latif. The worst word that can ever be written. A sign of infidelity, disbelief, filth. A sign of dirt.
He calls Jews pigs, who will be killed when the end of the world comes.
This preacher will say, "O Muslim, behind me is the Jew, come and kill him." All of them. Every single one of them.